So then, of course, look at that, November 13th. It's interesting timing, isn't it? November 13th. November 13th, our friends in Vice, the subversive hipsters from Vice, right before this day, right before November 15th in these protests, they come out with this new video where quote unquote journalist Paola Ramos goes quote unquote undercover and travels to Cuba to find out if the 62-year-old communist dictatorship is losing a grip on its people. Look at that. Right on time. Right on time, our friends at Vice are coming through. They seem to have a lot of videos as well about like these movements when they pop up in Nicaragua or Venezuela or Libya or Syria. It's weird how whenever these movements, or Hong Kong, it's weird whenever these movements pop up. You got Vice in there, ensuring they give it this kind of like coked up millennial hipster spin. Oh, we're gonna get into her family lineage. Don't worry about this. We're gonna get into the family lineage of this so-called journalist. Right after this, I just googled Cuba, and all the news stories are about how the government is going to crack down on protesters. Yeah, because as we know, this is a coordinated campaign. We're seeing it's coming directly from the state, representatives of the State Department. It's all the different media arms. I mean, there's a coordinated push in mainstream media, from the mainstream all the way down to Vice and Good Morning America, and all these different things are going all in on this. And we can look into Operation Mockingbird and the ability that the CIA has to control these media narratives, as well. A long established history of this. It's just a full-fledged operation. We're seeing it coming from the state, from the media, and it's a social media component as well. And frankly, that's just why I think it's important to do this shit. Sometimes we can say, this stuff going on, talking about this stuff on Twitch, talking about it on Twitter is just self-aggrandizing. It doesn't accomplish anything. If it meant nothing, if this whole social media propaganda battle meant nothing at all, they wouldn't put resources into promoting these narratives on social media. And like we talked a few minutes ago about how these social media companies basically act as arms of the state in this as well. They promote, they allow these bot networks to spread these narratives. Whereas, if these bot networks are coming from China or anywhere else, or Russia, then it's this evil, nefarious thing. They nuke accounts, like, for instance, Nicaraguan accounts that were Nicaraguan citizens that supported the Sandinistas, supported the government, were pushing back on U.S. propaganda. They're having their accounts eliminated. This is why I think it's important to do this, They can't eliminate me. They can't just take away my account because I support the Cuban Revolution. They can't just take away my account. You don't know anything about Cuba? Yes, I do. Fuck off. Go away. So they can't. They just can't do that to me. That's why I think it's important. That's why I feel like it's important to use my platform in this way. Did you listen to the Corporate Memphis Cuba episode of True Anon? No, I did not. I'm sure it's good. And other people were recommending Blowback. Everyone should absolutely listen to Blowback Season 2 as well about this. So now let's look at our friends in Vice. Let's look at our friends in Vice and see what they're talking about. Here we go. Ad for the protests. Literally. It's just an ad for the protest. They did not. I tried. I honestly thought I would give them the benefit of the doubt, and I thought they would just mention it. They would just mention it just so they can shut down that argument. Just at least mention the role that the United States has played in creating the economic conditions that many people are reacting to. At least just throw a casual mention of this. Did they name one political prisoner outside of that woman on house arrest? No, I don't believe so. And again, this is like a woman hanging on her fucking balcony. Two dudes on the street and a vlog of an attempt to see it as a seditionist. Give me a fucking break, folks. Come on. People are still buying this. We don't have... Like, that's the thing. It's like people feel like they need to be respectable. And in order to be respectable, you have to be like, well, I don't support imperialism, but I have to be respectable. And I have to, like, I can't just, like, I can't just claim that all this is some kind of operation, or you have to this bullshit, like, oh, I stand with the Cuban people thing. It's like, give me a fucking break. Like, you actually don't have to. It's actually counterproductive to do that. Just say, I'd rather people said nothing at all than try to take this like moral high ground shit. This third position, anti-campist position. I'd rather people just said nothing at all. It's just embarrassing, people that are still like, look how much more clear this could be. Just in the timing of it. They're literally putting out like a fully funded documentary ad for these November 15th protests that are unfolding today. How do people still believe this? Give me a break. Come on now. And I'm telling you, anyone that writes for Vice, that has been involved with Vice in the past, like suspect, you got to immediately suspect them of being definitely non-trustworthy. Whoa, hey, what's this on the screen here? We got to, oh crap. Sorry. I don't know how I clicked on something by accident. I apologize. Just ignore that. Just ignore what we just saw there. No. Okay. That's gone. That's gone now. Don't worry about it. No one worry about that. About what we just saw there. It's not important. If there's a medal for campism, this channel would win the Lifetime Achievement Award. So we've heard. Okay, so now let's look into this quote-unquote journalist. Paola Ramos. Interesting last name there, Ramos. Where have I heard that before? But let's take a look at this journalist. This quote-unquote journalist. Paola Ramos. And like, this is when it gets to be just like beyond parody. Like, you would really think that if they were going to do these kind of operations, if these kind of like counter-revolutionary operations were going to be going on, they would use people where there would maybe be a little bit more credible. Like, they would have maybe a little bit more credibility or a little bit more plausible deniability to like, when people make these accusations. You'd think that they would just use people that didn't have this kind of background, but I guess they can't resist. They can't help themselves. Paola Ramos is an American journalist. Ramos is correspondent for Vice and is a contributor to Telemundo and MSNBC. Work focuses primarily around Latino issues. Ramos has been featured and has been served as a subject matter expert in Latina, Pop Sugar, Bustle, Vice, LA Blade, South Turn, a bunch of other stuff. Born in Miami, that's kind of interesting. Born in Miami. She grew up in Spain. Her mother, Gina Montaner, was born in Cuba, and her father is a Mexican-American journalist, Jorge Ramos. A famous journalist. A Mexican-American journalist. Regarded as the best-known Spanish-language news anchor in the United States of America, he's been referred to as the Walter Cronkite of Latin America. Career. Let's get into Paola's career here. And listen, if this ever makes its way back to Paola, I'm sure she's a very nice person. Nothing against her personally. Well, actually, I have a little bit something against her personally for contributing to this kind of like counter-revolutionary operation. That I think is pretty unfortunate. I'm sure she's very nice though. Ramos served in the Obama administration, including working for both President Barack Obama and Vice President Joe Biden, and served as the deputy director of Hispanic media for the Hillary Clinton 2016 presidential campaign. In 2019, Ramos became a correspondent for Vice's documentary series Vice and Vice News Tonight. She is the prior host to Vice's docuseries Latinx for her work at Vice. She was nominated for the GLAAD Media Award for her piece, The Latinx Drag Queens Spearheading HIV Activism on the Border. Same year, Ramos keynoted George Washington University's Latinx Heritage Celebration. Currently serves as an on-air contributor to Telemundo and MSNBC. So that's kind of interesting. Again, it's interesting background for one of these kind of objective journalists to be doing this kind of stuff. Trying one more time to refresh the chat. Still having trouble with that, unfortunately. Kind of, oh, did it work there? Are we back? No, we're not. Okay. So let's look at this clip. I've heard of her father before. I've heard of her father before. Where is it? Oh yes. Where have I heard this before? From her father's now infamous interview with Nicolás Maduro, president of Venezuela. And I'm trying to find the money clip. One of the all-time, this is such a fucking great. How can you not, I'm sorry, how can you not like Maduro? It was one of the all-time great clips of revolutionaries openly mocking these kinds of like incredibly biased Western journalists. Well, you know, Western, certainly working on behalf of the West. To destabilize his country.
Caer en el error de no ser periodista, sino ser militante de la oposición. Te contesto. Son los datos. Te contesto. No son tus datos, no son los datos.
And so everything Maduro is saying here to Jorge Ramos can be absolutely applied to his daughter in this quote unquote journalism, that she's doing with Vice talking about Cuba. Every single thing that he's saying could be directed directly at her.
Caer en el error de no ser periodista, sino ser militante de la oposición. Te contesto. Son los datos. Te contesto. No son tus datos, no son los datos. Te contesto porque está bien, acepto tu rol de militante de la oposición venezolana. No hay ningún problema. Ahora, periodista. No es periodista, Jorge, tú lo sabes. Caer en el
Absolute king moment. Kingly moment. Absolute kingly moment from Maduro here. Amazing. Why is my chat still not working? Very unfortunate. Absolutely love that clip. In fact, I just want to do this one more time because literally word for word, it could be said to Ramos's daughter in the quote unquote journalism that she's doing right now for Vice.
Caer en el error de no ser periodista, sino ser militante de la oposición. Te contesto. Son los datos. Te contesto. No son tus datos, no son los datos. Te contesto porque está bien, acepto tu rol de militante de la oposición venezolana. No hay ningún problema. Ahora, no es periodista, Jorge, tú lo sabes.